What's up, guys? My name's Mitchell. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going over a roto-molded cooler that you probably never heard of, but you might want to take a look at. This is a CaterGator cooler. It has a ton of features that a lot of more expensive coolers don't have, but it also has a lot of the very similar features that you expect from a more higher, much more expensive brand. Stay tuned. Let's jump into it.
So what do you do when you have a record heat in June in Florida? You do ice tests. Went to the Piggly Wiggly, got 160 pounds of ice. We got a Yeti, we got an Rtic, and we got the new CaterGator. They're different sizes. They haven't had any ice. They've all been out in the ambient temperature. So here we go. Yeti 20, filled up to the top, 20 pounds of ice. Rtic 45, filled up to the top. CaterGator's loaded down with 120 pounds of ice. I had to load it in the vehicle because I couldn't pick it up otherwise. I'm not a brand snob. I've got all different ones. This is just an unscientific test to see if the CaterGator can hang with the more expensive brands.
And for context, here's the current prices of each of the coolers in their 110 quart capacity for an apples to apples comparison.
It's got to be like 115 degrees in here. They are like hot to the touch. Like I don't want to put my hand on them. They're so hot. It is like an oven. While we're waiting on them, let me tell you a little bit more about that CaterGator cooler. So let's take a little closer look at the cooler. Again, 110 quart, made by CaterGator. They're distributed by a company online called Webstaurant.com. They're a wholesale catering company. This cooler is manufactured in China. They're out of Albany, Georgia. I received it free shipping in 2 days. So one of the cool features I like about them are the cup holders and then also the ruler or the measuring stick on top. It's free. I don't know why more companies don't do that. There's no extra cost, and it's very useful and functional. Nice latches here. Looking at the inside, these are stainless steel corners that are actually bottle openers. And so again, another nice little feature that these more expensive coolers could incorporate that they don't. The notches here look very similar to the other brands where you could add those cup holders or the security devices or anything like that. There's the inside. You can see they got the nice rubber gasket all the way around like your regular coolers do. It's divided in the middle, so you could actually have ice on one side for fish or drinks or whatever. It looks like to save cost, they use the same mold for with or without the wheels. This one did not have the wheels, and you can actually see this is where some of the rough features of this particular cooler, where they would have had reinforced wheels here, but you can see that line. I think of this cooler as a tool used to haul game or deer or fish or whatever. It doesn't bother me. Your more expensive coolers aren't going to have that, but they do have the same mold for both coolers, which is fine with me. I don't care. It's 110 quart and it holds ice, no big deal. So off to the side, you can see there rope handles, and this is a like PVC pipe looking polymer, but it has a nice textured rubber grip on the outside. It's actually one of the more nicer features of the cooler, better than some of the other more expensive brands who have the cheap foam that falls apart. Etched quart size on the outside, just like your Yeti, just like your Rtic and other more expensive brands. And then you got your drain plug, which is actually pretty nice. And then I really like the fact that they've put it on a chain so that you don't lose it or forget it, because those aren't cheap. This full length hinge that runs across the whole cooler, very standard in the other brands. But then also these rubberized feet that keep it up off the ground and keep it from sliding. A lot of coolers are just flat on the bottom. They'll slide everywhere in the back of your truck or different things. This one's got the feet that you would expect from the much more higher end coolers as well. I know I keep comparing it to higher end coolers, but that's because it's so inexpensive, but comes with all the very similar features. And you can't help but compare it because you're really not sacrificing any of those features with this particular cooler.
A few moments later.
All right, we've hit the 24-hour mark. I initially wasn't going to open them at 24 hours, but I wanted to give you guys a realistic look in case you don't keep the cooler for days or weeks on end without opening it. Maybe you're using it for a party or a weekend get-together or a weekend camping trip, something like that. So I'm going to take a quick snapshot of each one because as soon as we introduce air into these coolers, the ice is going to start melting faster. There's the ice there. Here is the Rtic 45. And here's the Yeti Rtic. All right, so the Yeti's lost the most ice. I don't think it's the fault of the cooler. I think it has more to do with the size. Secondly, proportionally would be the Rtic. And the CaterGator has lost very little ice at all. Now I know what you're thinking. Did Mitchell just say that a cheap knockoff cooler is better than a Yeti? No, I didn't say that. I specifically said I don't think it's the fault of the cooler. This isn't saying Yeti sucks. This isn't saying Rtic sucks. This is comparing an inexpensive alternative and to see if it's right for you. Don't think that I'm trying to knock or bash any other product. That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth.
Many minutes later.
So we're at the 48-hour mark. Let's check them out. Ooh. See you tomorrow.
Several days later.
Day 3, 72-hour mark. Gonna go in reverse order this time. There is no ice left, but the water is still ice cold. Lots of ice water, but very little ice.
One eternity later.
So this is right around the 100-hour mark. Went ahead and took the Yeti out because it didn't have any more ice. Let's check the Rtic. Just a few pieces of ice left, floating around at the top. Oh, big chunk of ice still there. This, from here to here, is all still one solid block, and then it's ice all the way down. And again, guys, I just want to point out that it's not a reasonable expectation for these coolers to hold ice this long in these temperatures and these conditions.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
D-Day, day 5, 125 hours. It's going to be the last day of the test. So let's see if a cooler that's half the price can hold the ice.
No more ice in the Rtic, just water. Fought long and hard though. Let's see how much ice this CaterGator cooler has. So this whole thing is still, well, it's breaking apart, but it's one big block of ice. Man, that is cold. And there's ice all the way almost to the bottom.
Well, what's the verdict? I really like this thing. I think this is a great value. As a person who doesn't love to overspend, I like to buy quality things, but I like to save money where I can. If you're looking for a great roto-molded heavy-duty cooler that's gonna last a long time, hold ice for a long time, for camping or hunting or fishing or even just a party, you just need a nice cooler. This is definitely on the top of my list as far as the best value cooler for the money. If you stayed this far, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Take care. God bless.